This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix are hosting a blockbuster triple headliner Saturday, May 16th. Ronda Rousey returns to face fellow women's MMA pioneer Gina Carano in the main event. Plus co-mains Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. And the best heavyweight in the world, Francis Ngannou versus Felipe Lins. Watch Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano, live only on Netflix. Saturday, May 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time.
LinkedIn is great at connecting you with the world's largest professional network. But it can't connect you with motivation on a Monday morning. LinkedIn can help you get insights from your professional community. But it can't give you any insight into why Dave's still talking on mute. And while it can't stop your boss from bringing tuna for lunch, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit LinkedIn.com to learn more.
Hello everyone and welcome to How Are The Podcast. It's Gav and this is the most bizarre interview that I think I've ever conducted. I'm currently stood, how many foot up here are we right now?
5 metres high.
5 metres up on scaffolding as I look at the in-progress mural of Gary Rowell, which is situated a stone's throw from the Stadium of Light. And today I am joined by Frank Styles. Hello, mate.
Hello. Thanks for coming up, Gav.
Yeah. When you messaged us earlier to say, do you fancy coming up on the scaffolding? I thought, why not? I'm all about just, if somebody asks us to do something, I'll do it. But yeah, this is crazy. I mean, I've seen so much of your work over the years, but I've never been this close to it while it's in action. I mean, it is amazing, if I'm honest. And it's how far done now, would you say?
It's mad what happens. So I'm probably about 90% done. I'm just, so the main figure's been painted. You can't quite see his face from the road because of the scaffolds in the way, but he's done. I'm now finishing like the top of the globe. So because of we all live in a Gary Rowell world, I've ended up painting the whole world behind Gary Rowell. So at the moment I'm just about to start on the British Isles, and I'm going to quiz you, Gav, on your knowledge, geographical knowledge, and like away day, like who's won what where, basically.
it's as I look at it right now, you're probably what, 2/3 the way through. The picture of Gary Rowell's a little bit hidden by the scaffolding at the minute, but people, when they're walking past, can see it in progress, can't they? And obviously anyone who's familiar with your work,
people have been singing as they come past, have been singing the song and been beeping, and it's just getting loads of good comments. So I mean, even when I started, I mean, it's funny, Sunderland, I put this post on my Facebook, but I started painting the wall white and people come past, canny job that, you're doing a great job, Mara, and that's just me painting the wall white. So once I started with the text on first, we all live in a Gary Rowell world, and then people were just so buzzing about it. Yeah. I think he's just such a valued and respected, man, and for him recently passed away in December, I think it's a fitting tribute that he's been painted so close to the stadium.
Yeah, I think as well with younger fans who maybe don't, or certainly can't remember watching Gary Rowell play, because obviously he played in the 70s and 80s, that everybody knows what he did for us. He was a CM lad who scored a hat-trick against Newcastle at St James's Park. He lived the dream, and when he passed away, I think, given everything what happened around that time, that week we played Newcastle, and you'll remember the song ringing around the stadium ahead of the game. I think it gave everybody a lift. Honestly, he was looking down on us that day, and it's sad that he's no longer with us, but this is a fitting tribute to him, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
So, just very quickly before you get started with painting this little bit of the mural, Frank, just people who maybe aren't familiar with what you've already done in the city, which it would amaze us if anybody hasn't seen something that you've already done, but what's out there in terms of Sunderland across the city right now?
Yeah, so I've become a bit of an artist historian, whereas I paint, local culture. I've been living in Sunderland since 2003. I came up to uni and started doing murals around 2013, and so far, like football-wise, I've done, Raich Carter was the first footballer, the big one on the bill.
And you're going to be working on that again soon, aren't you?
Yes, well, hopefully. The club have actually, I've been talking, so the club, this is the first mural that the club have actually paid for, this Gary Rowell mural. Now they're interested in working with me to fix the Raich Carter mural, but sadly the whole thing's got to come off, because originally when it was painted the whole project was done on a shoestring budget, and we didn't have money to properly prep the wall. Now the club have said that they're going to help pay for the render to be redone, so we've got to get scaffold up there, knock off the render, re-render it and repaint them on there. And I think it's really worth doing because the amount of traffic and that mural being
seen all over the world on Netflix as well.
Exactly, on the Netflix, and I just think they've done such an amazing job. I mean, they obviously had to sign a waiver to say they could use it in their programme, but I just didn't realise how good it was going to be on that intro. It's just stunning. So I'm so chuffed it's there, and I only live around the corner from that as well, so I'm looking forward to repainting that one. Other murals, Steve from the Times Inn has been great. He's actually funded and crowdfunded and paid for the murals on the Times Inn. So you've got Kevin Phillips down there and Jimmy Montgomery. And then Gav Willis, he crowdfunded the one that's on the Bobby Gurney on the Golden Fleece in Silksworth. So yeah, I've done a few footballers. Carlos Edwards I've done, and I actually met Carlos in London during an exhibition about that. So yeah, I just love the passion that comes with football, and Sunderland's very passionate about its football club, and I just love being involved with that and painting. And then on top of that, I've done a lot of the industrial heritage. I've done coal mining and shipbuilding. I've done the Shipwrights pub, North Hilton, and then Silksworth on Donkins is a big coal mining mural. And I've done a history of Sunderland ships by the dock. So I know more about Sunderland cultural history than I do where I grew up in Kent. It's because you've become synonymous with Sunderland now. Like you say, that image that of particularly the Raich Carter mural, which went out on Netflix, I think that's been seen around the world now. People just see your art and think of Sunderland, which I think it must be quite humbling. That is it, like that people say, Frank's doing another mural, and they can't wait to see it shoot up. I mean, with this one in particular, this is going to blow people's socks off. Yeah. I mean, it's on a busy junction. I mean, there's a lot of traffic, and people are going to see it. And that, just seeing it around the world on the Netflix is crazy. Do you know? I mean, I don't know. Do they have any stats of how many people watch that? Or
well, I mean, every time we speak to anybody from around the world, it's mentioned. Every player that's ever signed for the club now, the club stick them in front of that documentary and say, this is to get you ready for what's coming, kind of thing, Yeah. But I mean, I think it's, other than maybe the Wrexham documentary, which came along after Sunderland Til I Die, it was the precursor really for the Wrexham documentary on Disney. I would say it's probably been the most popular. I don't have the figures, but from what you hear, it's probably been the most popular football documentary series that's been out. So, and I mean, that's because Sunderland is such a fascinating club, and people, again, I mean, not just your art, but of course, other bits of art. You think of the Lake Poets song, which plays as the intro music. I mean, I think Rob McElhenney actually said that was the inspiration for him to buy a football club, watching Sunderland Til I Die.
Wow.
And then he went and bought Wrexham, and you've seen what they've done there.
Yeah.
But like you say, the thing that I love about it is because, particularly when I travel around and I see a lot of different towns and cities and see, you can go into most towns and cities now, unfortunately, and they're very generic and they all look the same. It's the same shops every 2 metres. There's nothing that points to this is what this is. The culture of this area, and you've just talked about the various bits of cultural art that you've done in terms of the mining areas and the shipbuilding areas and what have you. That's what we are. That's our heritage. It's the north of England. It's Sunderland is the biggest thing. The football club is the biggest thing about this city. So to see your own art across, like I keep saying, I'm not blowing smoke up your arse, but I kind of am. It would make me very proud if I knew that that's how I was viewed.
Yeah, I mean, I am proud. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to have this opportunity to, carry on, and it is nice to be recognised by the club for them to get me in, because, like I say, it's the first time they've actually commissioned a mural. So, yeah, I'm buzzing. Looking forward to getting it finished. So, are you ready to? You ready for this job?
Absolutely, yeah. Come on then. So right, people on the pod can't see what we're doing here, but Frank
I'll explain. So at the moment we're standing up on the second lift of the scaffold. We're about 5 metres high. So I'm going to sit down on the boards, because when you're working on scaffold half the time you're crouching down to reach what's low. So we're going to sit down. We've got the British Isles have been outlined on the blue background. I'm going to paint it, and we're going to see how our geography is, because we've got no map in front of us. It's literally a paint on the wall.
So hopefully because you're such a great artist, Frank, you've at least got the map right. So
the map's vaguely accurate. Right,
I mean, I'm always like this. I'll look at a map and go, I think that's where Sunderland is, and then I'm too far or too low. So this should be interesting. So yeah, as Frank says, the murals which he paints are just synonymous with Sunderland. I'm hoping that this is going to become the new. You think about the Raich Carter mural, Frank, and you think about what I said before about being seen around the world. This could be the next one, couldn't it? It's people are visiting the stadium, visiting the city. When they drive in, they'll see this. They'll think,
"You're going to see this."
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to come down? Can you sit down?
Absolutely, yes.
Right.
My creaky old bones.
Right. So we've started on the very top. So we're on Scotland. So for starters,
oh man, the furthest point north.
Furthest point north, Shetland.
I want to say Shetlands. I think. I hope you know.
I know. Well, I was going to ask you, what's the furthest north that you go for an away game?
In the Premier League, I think it's Newcastle, isn't it?
Oh right, so
yeah. The furthest north club in England, or league club. Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'm thinking. I mean, Carlisle's kind of adjacent to us, isn't it? So maybe
Carlisle over here.
Oh, possibly, yeah. No, is that not kind of Carlisle around here? This area. I am blocking the camera. People can't really see. But yes, I'm thinking probably Newcastle.
Probably Newcastle.
Yeah,
okay.
and obviously the Premier League did us a great favour with giving us Bournemouth as a 12:30 kick-off this season, which is the longest distance drive.
Yeah.
So that's all the way at the bottom of the country. So people were having to set off the day before to get to the match for a dinner time kick-off.
So Bournemouth, that's what would you say down there, right at the bottom?
More west, isn't it? Bournemouth, I think. If you think like Southampton, Portsmouth.
So I think that might be the Isle of Wight there. That dot.
Yes.
So it's kind of still left of Isle of Wight. Still
yes,
west.
I think so.
All right, let's stick a Bournemouth.
We'll start with the Bournemouth.
What about down the West Country? You go any further down the West?
Plymouth would be down there, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So that's, what is it? Round about?
Probably more west, I would say.
West,
yeah.
And then, I've gone into Wales. I've just gone into Wales there.
Oh, there are Welsh clubs. We're not going to have any in the Premier League this season because Wrexham missed out on the playoffs. But you never know next season. Cardiff as well. Cardiff, Swansea and Wrexham all in the Championship next season after Cardiff's promotion.
Right, that's Cornwall
done.
Wales is done. Okay, now I'm coming down to Kent because that's where I'm from. The first Sunderland match I saw was Gillingham playing up here.
What year would that have been?
Oh, that would have been maybe 2003.
So that would have been when Nick McCarthy was Sunderland manager, I think. I vaguely remember playing against Gillingham in the Championship. So I think that, you could be right. And was that at the Stadium of Light, was it?
Yeah, Stadium of Light, yeah. A couple of my mates came up and they just said, we're up for a point. I can't remember who won. I don't think they got the point like that.
Where we are now, we're looking at the East Coast, so we're looking more like what, Brighton, Ipswich?
No. Well, Brighton's
way down there. Say our geography shop.
What's this? Ipswich.
Yeah.
Ipswich over there.
Ipswich, Norwich. Ipswich back in the Premier League next season. That's got to be one of the worst journeys of the season for Sunderland fans, I think. So we're coming around about London, round here. Yeah.
What's who do you least want to play in London then?
Well, I'm hoping Tottenham go down, but if they stay up, maybe Spurs. Who's coming up? Have we got any London clubs coming up? I don't think we have. Coventry finished top. You had Ipswich in second. Playoff final. Well, we don't know who's going to play in the playoff final because of what's going on with Spygate. But in terms of London clubs, you've got Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Fulham, Brentford. I'd probably say Spurs, if I'm honest. I don't like playing Spurs. I'm hoping they go down, but it looks like they're going to pull it out the bag. West Ham could possibly go down if Spurs don't.
Right, and then coming up on the East Coast, where do we hit up here? Are we sort of Hull somewhere?
Hull, yeah. Well, Hull could be in the Premier League next season, couldn't they? They're in the playoff final. I wouldn't mind a trip to Hull. That's not too bad for us, is it? It's only like 2.5 hours.
Not too far. Right, no. Like if we go West Inland, Midlands, where we're looking, Birmingham,
Coventry in the Premier League next season. Aston Villa, Wolves have gone down, so we can miss them out.
Jumped over West Coast now.
I mean, there's not much on that side of the country, is there? Let's be honest. The Manchester clubs, Liverpool, maybe.
Yeah.
I think this has got to be the first time anybody's podcasted the painting of the British Isles.
Yeah, we're slowly painting around. There's a white space where the northeast is, so we're slowly getting closer.
We're getting there. Yeah. I suppose technically, Hull's the northeast. Yeah, and if Middlesbrough get the way, they could well be in the playoff final replacing Southampton because of this whole spine thing, so you never know.
That's a lot closer than Southampton.
Yes.
I've jumped up. I've missed these little islands on the west of Scotland. So that's where you get a palm tree, isn't it? From the Gulf Stream.
Is that right?
Apparently you get a palm tree over at one of these, some bay over here. You get a palm tree.
Ah, okay. There's not many teams I can think of who would. Can you imagine playing away at a team on one of those islands? That's.
Oh, that. To get the ferry across and. Right, I'm closing in on the northeast. So, yeah.
Well, obviously we've got them lot up the road, the visitors. I think you've got to paint that bit in.
Yeah.
Are we marking that with anything in particular?
I don't know if you're being...
Big red cross through it, maybe?
This map is so small, I don't know if you're going to be able to differentiate between Sunderland and Newcastle. They're that close. Right, I'm coming in. Right, that's it. The British Isles is now green.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We need maybe a little red mark to signify Sunderland on there. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, I was going to try and put a red and white dot on there somehow. Yeah.
Fabulous. No, it looks great, doesn't it? I think even that, right? I reckon if I tried to do what you've just done, that would just be a big blob. I mean, that's years of experience. That.
Yeah.
Where did it start for you doing this then? Like just literally graffiti?
Yeah, doing graffiti. Yeah, when I was a kid, a horrible tagger going around, tagging stuff, and I came to Sunderland. And the thing about where I grew up, Tunbridge Wells, there wasn't really anywhere you could paint without it being really like illegal, or here there was the old the docks in Hendon, or like I think it was where they would load the coal onto a train, and there was like two massive walls, and I went down there and I was just amazed with Mr. I's pieces going all the way along, and it was just so. It was just, I'd seen his stuff in magazines, and to go and see it on the wall there, it just blew me away. So having that space to practice without having to worry about being chased or whatever, that's what really gave me the time and space to turn like graffiti into more like street art and more like stuff people want to see. Graffiti is great, but really only other graffiti artists appreciate it a lot of the time. And with the street art stuff, murals, I can connect with like a lot more people than just doing graffiti. So that's Sunderland enabled me to turn from graffiti to street art and murals.
And these days, like, is that sort of facility still there for kids now? Like, is it encouraged?
I wouldn't say it's a facility.
Yeah,
but actually put fences up. They put a lot more fences around there now, so I think you can still just about get in there. But it's a bit.
It's like anything though, isn't it? Like. When I was a kid, you didn't have smartphones, so you found things to do, and that's that was your creative outlet to paint. Where I can't imagine these days there are many kids picking up cans of paint. Unfortunately,
well, I think there are, and there are more opportunities with some youth clubs and stuff like that with people actually teaching painting. I teach some workshops. It's hard because there's nothing. For me, I've never found someone who's going to say, right, here's the funding to actually come here week in, week out and teach, and that's what you need to pick up a spray can. But the reason why there's it takes a dedication to, if you've got to get hold of the paint and find somewhere to do it and go out, it's not really offered on a plate. You have to go out your way to find those opportunities and spaces to paint. So it does take quite a lot, and for me it took years before I could paint anything I was happy with. Honestly, I was just painting absolute rubbish for years, but I love the adrenaline of it. And now I get the adrenaline by doing high profile stuff that a lot of people are going to see, and that's like a bit of a pressure, or like coming up on the scaffold, there's the adrenaline there. So I'm just an adrenaline junkie, really.
This was all done in conjunction with Made in Sunderland Week, wasn't it? So the club commissioned you to do this. It's actually signified on the mural, so when people come and view it, they'll see the Made in Sunderland logo on there. And I guess the Sunderland's sort of supercharging the future in terms of the identity of the city. You know, you see what's going on around the city, you see the various things which I think it's been needed, but there's also been an embracement of culture and arts, and you know, culture houses going up in the city centre, which is obviously a big signifier of that the city are embracing art, they're embracing culture. So you know, hopefully this is the rebirth of the city. These sort of things will be just common. You know, when I go to, like, you know, places where it has been embraced, you know, you might go like down to Camden or something like that, and you look around at all the street art and things like that. It seems to be that Sunderland, when actually we want to be the city of independence, we want to be the city of creatives. So for you, that must be fantastic, because you're out and about doing stuff like this. Yeah, it's ideal, and I think, like, slowly since I started painting in Sunderland, in like painting murals, probably 2013 or 2011, 2013, something like that, and since then it has become more of an accepted art form. Back in like 2003, or like before, it was lumped in with graffiti, and if you were using a spray can you were doing vandalism, and that was all lumped together. But now it's definitely separated, and there's a street art thing. And I'm not saying like graffiti, I still love graffiti, and like any time you see a tag you think's annoying, that could potentially be the start of someone's journey who like might follow what I've done and start like doing mad art everywhere. But it does take that going out tagging to create that scene, to then draw out the different art forms that come from that. So if you could paint one surface with one former or current Sunderland player, have you ever thought about where you would like to do that and what you would like to do? Well, I have got a wall in the city centre that I really want to do, but I'm not going to say where it is. but it's funny, I look at walls in Sunderland, and like some of them I've looked at for years, and then I get a phone call, can you come paint this? Yeah. It's what happened in the software centre. I've got a big mural in the atrium of the software centre. I mean, that is a few years old now, but when the software centre was built, it was brand new building, all white walls coming up to a huge atrium, like 13 metres high. And I was like, I want to paint those white walls. And they're like, no, you can't paint this new building. Well, 7 years later, they rang me because they were bored of the white walls, and got me in, and I went and did it. So I'm hoping this happens with 7 years' time with some of the new buildings that are getting knocked up. But what I would really love to see, and I really would advocate for, is when you're building a new building, why not have a space on it that's a specific canvas for a mural that can be updated, say, every 6-7 years? Because they say, well, the murals don't last that long, like in terms of a lifetime of a building, like the paint will fade or they need fixing up. But why can't we have almost like an outdoor gallery space, a mural space that is updated every 6 or 7 years by different artists that come in? And why can't we bring in different artists from the city? So I'd really like, if you're an architect out there, or a town planner, or whoever makes these decisions, make me a space on your new building that I can paint from day one. And that would be like a world first, because normally we end up painting buildings as they start to get old and look a bit crap. So why don't we just build that in from the beginning? It won't be too long before you're probably painting a mural of Luke O'Nien or Granit Xhaka, I would imagine. You know, people get very nostalgic and emotional when players leave, don't they? So, you know, I can imagine that being probably one of your next Sunderland projects. But it's been a pleasure, this, mate. It really has been. I mean, like I say, I normally record from my office, or if we're in the pub after the game, literally, which I can see where I go from, you know, the Hilton Garden Inn, that's where we go after the game to record. That's very normal and standard. Top of a scaffold in the middle of a mural painting is definitely the weirdest place I've recorded, but it's been a pleasure, mate, and good luck with the rest of it. I think, like I say, I think it's fantastic. People need to come along and see it, and if you're hearing about Frank's work for the very first time, obviously you ran through a little while ago about the various places where you can see them around the city. Go on a little tour, have a look around, see them, because they're there, they're free to view. You know, nobody's going to stand there with a ticket machine and say, come on, pay up to look at this. It's part of our culture and heritage in the city. You know, like I said, you can go all the way down to Hendon, Silksworth, into the city centre. The work of Frank is everywhere, and it's notable as well. You know when it's a Frank Styles piece. It doesn't.
Let's plug the website. So it's frankstyles.com, and a lot of the paintings are on there. And then my Instagram is FAO Styles, and Facebook as well. So there's a lot on there.
And there'll be updates on this, of course. Hopefully the Raich Carter mural, which you know should be hopefully starting soon if everything goes well.
Really, because like I'm never.
The reaction when people say coming down is going to be fun, but they haven't realised what you're doing.
And then I've got to try and paint it like exactly the same, and
Well, cheers, mate. Thanks very much for that. Appreciate it. And thanks, everyone. We've got plenty coming up this weekend around the Everton game, so make sure you stick with us, get subscribed if you're not already, and we'll see you later.